one. Good luck, everybody. OSPF, default information originate, just added it. What are the results? Well, based on this, as I look at this, it has no default route. So if we don't have a default route configured or available to us, we're not going to advertise it. So that's one of the answers. Default route is not being advertised right now based on this output. And if a default route is added, it will be advertised. It's a two for one. So the blue and gold, or if you're colorblind, the two that are highlighted, those are the correct answers. All right, now that's just a warm up. These are also randomized. So the order they come up in is going to be exciting for me as well. If you're just joining us, you can join the live game right now, real time at kahoot.it with that pin at the very bottom middle. Or if you're using an app, you can do it with the app. Or if you're watching it after the fact, you can still enjoy the recording. All right, here we go. Next question. Good luck, everybody. All right, let's do this. Let's take a look at the output here, and let's just see what's true based on this output. And I'm going to do it with a pen. I'm going to highlight it with a pen. And let's use that color. All right, now, here's the deal with this. There's just a lot of output here, including this bad boy right here, which is just my attempt at a little bit of humor. So out of all this output, my goal isn't for you to memorize every single aspect of an output like this, but you know, we do a show IP OSPF interface. It's going to show us some details regarding OSPF. And the key is just, you know, one option is when you get a question like this or a screen like this, look at the possible answers. What are they looking for? And we aren't going to have to process a lot of this to do it. But let me just interpret this with you as a human, like one human to the other, you and I. This is the output command of this command right there. Great. And it's up. That's great. The address on that interface is 1034.03 with a 24-bit mask. Great. It's been assigned to area 0. Fantastic. It's a network type broadcast, which is default for Ethernet, so that hasn't been tweaked. As we go down, it says that the state is a DR. It's a giveaway. This is a designated router. Or we could also say that where it says designated router, the ID is 3333, and hey, that's my ID. I'm the designated. So it's telling us twice, at least here, that it's the designated router. It has the default priority of 1, which is who's going to win the DR election. If 2 routers come up, higher is better. Has the interface address and tells us who the backup DR is, which is 4444, what their address is. The default for broadcast network type, the default hello and dead interval are set. And down here, I love this. Neighbor count is 1 and adjacent count is 1. What that means is we are fully adjacent with the neighbor. So if we have like 10 devices on one segment and we have a DR and a BDR, everybody else is going to be DR others. And so we're going to see all those devices if we're not a DR or BDR. And so the neighbor count would go up for all the other devices we see on the network segment, but we wouldn't be fully adjacent with everybody except for the DR and the BDR. So you're not going to see that too much, actually, because you're not going to have like 10 devices in real life on one network segment that are speaking OSPF. But this is spelling it out. And if we did a show IP OSPF interface brief, and you weren't on Packet Tracer, because Packet Tracer has a little hiccup with that command, it would show you a count of neighbors and fully adjacent neighbors, like that in the far right hand column. All right, so that's the same output here. So if we clear that off, that was fun. We clear that off and take a look at the answers. There is one neighbor, true, and this is a DR, true. And I don't think this router went to medical school, but it's still a DR. All right, moving on. Next question. Good luck, everybody. Wow, crushed it. Amazing. That's so good. So 4444 is a BDR. A lot of people answered that, and let's take a look real quick at the output. This is a tricky question, or it can be a tricky question, unless you've spent a few minutes with it. Let me turn on my pen real quick. So this is the output of what command? Let's talk about that for a moment. And if you've run this command, if you've done some labs and practiced, this is the output of show IP OSPF neighbor. Won't you please, won't you be my neighbor? That's a Donald recommended I do that. So that's from a Mr. Rogers song. Anyway, the output of this command says that and it's a /24. So these are all basically separate network segments. That's the reason I included that piece of information. So if we look at the output here, this says that 3333, that's the router ID. I'll put this at router ID is 3333. And here it states that it has a full, which means full adjacency. And this dash means we don't have to use the DR on this segment or BDR. That means that this network type for the 1023 network is not a broadcast network type, and it's not a non-broadcast network type, because both of those use DRs or BDRs, or both if there's two devices present, and none of the other types do. So that's information about that. And then we have a neighbor with a router ID of 1111. All right, congratulations. And why congratulations to him? Because we have a full adjacency with him. You know, remember ITELF? I have a video on ITELF, the init, two-way, XStart, exchange, loading and full, loading, update, full. ITELF, ELF. Yeah, EE, loading and full. So going back to my own mnemonics for that. So we have a full adjacency, and that device is a doctor. Is it? I shouldn't say that, because if you're new, it's a designated router. So R1, or whoever's router ID this is the designated router. That's what that says. And 4444 for row 3, we have a full adjacency there, and it's the network 10.24.0 based on that 24-bit mask. And that device is a BDR. If that device is a BDR, and we don't have a relationship with the DR, guess what? We're the DR. And that's what this screen was. This question, when I formulated it this last night and then polished it up this morning, my goal was to help reinforce the idea about how all that works. And if you're like, I'm so confused, I would encourage you to take just any one or two of the dozens of packet tracer labs that I have available with videos and also downloadable from thekeithbarker.com. They're all free. And practice with it a little bit. You know, do some networking or take one of the existing labs and do some show IP OSPF neighbor just to take a moment and confirm. All right, so a lot of people got green correct. A bunch of people, 44, got blue correct, and a very thin margin of you got 22. Our R2 is a BDR, and I think I just explained why. All right, so thank you for participating. Oh my gosh, it's so great to have you here. I love it when people take their knowledge from one level to the next, and just keep on growing. That's the secret. That's the secret. Just never give up. And that's the only way we really lose is if we stop trying. And my goal, one of the solutions I want to help provide on this channel is letting you know you can do this and you should do this. And once you get your CCNA, you should continue. I have a question coming up in this checklist, in this quiz about when are you taking your next certification? And as I wrote that last night, I thought to myself, you know what? I need to ask myself the same question. I need to help put my feet to the fire too. So anyway, that question is coming up. Let's go back to our next question, and that's this. All right, good luck, everybody. Wow, great job. Wow, 66 and 67 on the correct answers. So let me chat with you about a couple things that we can do. There was a flurry of questions about on a previous question about, oh, why couldn't this be this, or why was that? If you would like to connect with me or anybody on the Discord server, which is also free, there's a link in the description for this video. Right after this live session, we will be in the Discord server for a while. I have a markup pen, and I'm not afraid to use it. And so what we can do is if you have specific questions on any of these, or why was that the right answer, or why isn't this true, let's go ahead and I'll bring them up, and we'll annotate and take your detailed questions until you get the answers that you seek. Fair enough? I'm available. Also on Discord, I had, was it yesterday or the day before? I had somebody from some part of the world who reached out, DM'd me, and it took me like a day to, catch up, and I DM'd him back. We had a call, because if I'm chatting with somebody and you're like online at that time, it's just a button in Discord, boom, and we can talk. And it was great. And we had like maybe a 5 or 6 minute discussion and talked about loopback addresses and in the real world, where are they used or why are they used? So if you have a question, you want to find out more, or you want to say hi, I am available. Maybe not every minute of every day, but if you DM me on Discord, I will get to that within 2 or 3 days, and we can have a chat there. Or if you want to have a call, I'm happy to talk too. I like talking. I was, not many people realize this, but I wasn't born talking. No, you were born talking. And I do have an accent. So if I'm chatting with you and you're in some other part of the world than where I'm from, please excuse my accent, because my accent is different from most people's. I grew up in Southern California, for sure. Yeah, totally. I did. So I slur a little bit, but I've had great conversations. Okay, so regarding this one, which interfaces are included in OSPF? I can see, thank you for the kind words, everybody. Here's how I would solve this. Number one, let me go to the big screen. Oh, by the way, I got air conditioning installed and working in my new studio, which is I took an old workshop that was attached to the house off the garage, and got it gutted and got air conditioning finally put in yesterday. And I admire technicians, man. When that guy came in and he hooked up the vacuum and vacuumed the lines and did all the trimming, I thought, this guy is so competent at what he does. And I'd like to say the same thing. If you're just starting your journey in networking, I'd like to say the same thing about you in a year, where I can come back and you can show me what you're doing and where you're at. Maybe you're at the professional level or maybe the IE level. And you guys think, Keith, I remember when I first got started with subnetting, it was because of you. I couldn't learn it, or I had a tough time. I watched your series on, free series, Subnet Saturdays, and I nailed it. And now I'm working at this service provider or this company. I look forward to all your successes. And that's happened, countless times over the years. And I celebrate with you. The key is it does take some dedicated hard work. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So for this question, let's go back here. So for this question, it would be handy to understand subnetting. It would, to appreciate this. And Subnetting Saturdays, there's a playlist for it. Yeah, there's only 2 things stopping you from being really, really good at subnetting. One is scheduling some time to watch the Subnet Saturdays playlist here on YouTube, on my channel. Or secondly, doing it. That's it. Yeah, scheduling the time and watching it. Because everybody I've talked to who watches that playlist and does the exercise I ask them to can, without having to do powers of 2 or 2 to the power of 0. Why is it always 1? I don't know. I'm not a freaking math PhD. So I teach it in a way that's accessible to everybody. So if you hear people talking about subnetting and you just can't get your brain around it, check out Subnet Saturdays. It's for you. Okay, so here, using some of that information from Subnet Saturdays, let me get my pen out. Here's what I would do. This is the network statement in OSPF. It's right there with show IP protocols. And if it's network 172.18.16.0, and this is the wildcard mask, I'm going to shortcut this. You can go through the playlist for Subnet Saturdays to get more. But if it's a wildcard mask of 7, that means the block size is 8. And you might say, Keith, what's a block size? Subnet Saturdays. Check it out. You'll love it. And it'll serve you like forever. So take advantage of that. So that means this third octet right here, that the subnets are going to be block sizes of 8. So it's going to be in that third octet. 0, 8 plus 8 more is 16, plus 8 more is 24, plus 8 more is 32, do that longhand, do it shorthand, whatever. But these are our networks. So subnet 0, I'm going to call it subnet 0, subnet 8, subnet 16, subnet 24. This is subnet 16. So the range for that third octet is going to be somewhere from 16 to 23. So all you really need to do to answer this question, if you understand the subnetting behind it, is say which addresses in the choices have the third octet between 16 and 23. Now, if that seems like absolute magic, like, oh, like you can do this. If I can do this, and I've got a super average, or maybe, yeah, average math skills, you can do this. But the reason I can do it so quickly is because I went through these Subnet Saturdays playlist, and I understand IPv4 subnetting, and I understand some really cool tricks of how to get it done. So all we're looking for is 16 through 23. If you have more questions on this, and you already understand subnetting, bring them to Discord right after this, and we'll take a look at them together. So we're looking for 16 through 23. So red has 16 in that third octet right there, and blue has, 16 through 23. So 22 is in that range, 18 is in that range, and everything else is 14 and, oh, and this is 25 down here, so that's too high. All right, and that's how I did it. Now, is it true that when I created this question, I did it for the intention of learning? I mean, to push your limits a little bit and make sure you could understand the concepts? Yes, and you'll be, not just for certification, but understanding IPv4 subnetting will put you head and shoulders above most of your competition. And also, people ask me, should I get a CCNP? Should I go on? And the answer is yes. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people oh, crap. Oh, that's still PG-13, right? There's thousands of people who get their CCNAs every single month. And that means there's thousands of people who are learning the basics and the fundamentals. How do you set yourself apart? And the answer is, once you're done with your CCNA, do this. Take a nice deep breath, and then go for your CCNP. And get your CCNP, because that will help set you apart. And then while you're working on your CCNP, go get some entry-level work experience. Anywhere. Volunteer it, entry-level job at a service desk/help desk, doesn't matter. Faith-based organizations, the local clubs, your neighbor's house, whatever. Just get some practice. Your neighbors wouldn't be too much of hands-on practice for a corporate environment, but get some hands-on practice, then go for your CCNP. That will set you apart, because when people are looking at hiring people and they have 10,000 people with 1,000 people with CCNAs, and they've got one person who has a specialist at the NP level and has maybe a little work experience to boot, that's going to put them a lot on a higher choice. They're going to be more preferable, that person, than somebody who just has their CCNA. So the key is start with your CCNA. And the secret is, do not, talking to you, don't stop. Don't stop with the CCNA. So with Cisco, go for your CCNP in something, security, enterprise route switch, something, and then go on to something else that you love, like Palo Alto or advanced Cisco, firepower and so forth, whatever it is you want to do. All right. So that was my question there for those reasons. Thanks for playing along. A lot of you got it right, 66-ish. And here is our next question. Good luck, everybody. September. All right. So currently, as of this recording, it's now near the end of July. And so September is a great goal. I would encourage you to commit that to somebody that you care about and let them know. It could be me if you want. If you want to go on one of my social, even on this video, if you're watching this after the fact and want to commit, just say, hey, I'm committed to, and put the month and year, and also the year's good, and then also what you're going to go for. And I'll tell you what, I'm motivated. So most people are in September. We have second place August. August is next month. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm committing publicly. I'm going to do what I'm asking you to do. I am committing that in August, which is next month of 2020, which starts in like 5 days from now, somewhere during that month, I will take another specialist exam in the world of Cisco. And because I already did Encore, I think I'll probably do NRC, ENARSI, which deals with routing, EIGRP, OSPF version 3, address families, a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So I'm committed. So you can ask me. Actually, you can always ask me. I'm available. But you can follow with me and ask me after August of 2020. Hey, Keith, did you get your cert? And I will post. I will let you know. All right. So thanks for... we're in this together, right? We are all in this together. I was on a call yesterday after our premiere, and I learned something brand new, something I didn't know, and about a wireless controller. And I used to have a CCNA in wireless when they had that, and so I have a basic level of CCNA for wireless and wireless LAN controllers and CapWAP and all that stuff. And I learned something new, and I thought, I'm motivated. And then I had another question that said, hey, how would you do XYZ? And I said to myself, I'm not sure, but let me prep on that. And that's going to be the topic for next Saturday's content. So every Saturday, I do something that's interesting, unique for CCNA level as far as content. Every Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific. Every Sunday, and this has been consistent for the last, since October. So 12 pieces of content every single month. So if you haven't already, I would love you to subscribe and hit the alert bell so you don't miss anything, so you can be aware of it. And then you can pick and choose what you want to watch, but I want you to be aware of the content coming out. So going back, the topic first. Okay, so next Saturday is going to be on wireless. I have a little 2504. I put it together. It was part of a previous video. I've got 3 access points, and I'm going to expand those horizons a little bit and do something with interface pooling. Interface groups, which I've never done before. So that's all coming. And I'm just pushing myself. What I'm saying is I'm encouraging you to join me as we just take it to the next step, you just keep on learning. The other thing I wanted to mention was, and then Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, I deliver, it's called What's Next Wednesdays. And these are I have lots of people in my life, including you, if you're brand new to networking, who are like, what's a console port? What's a terminal emulator? I mean, how do I connect to a console port? And so I did a whole bunch of videos. They're dropped on Wednesday afternoons, 4 p.m. Pacific, and they're called What's Next Wednesday. So I want to give you a heads up. So if you're already at the CCNP level, working in your CCIE, I guarantee you they'll be fun to watch, but if it's really like entry level on Wednesdays, feel free to watch something else on the channel, but or anywhere you want for that matter. So I just want to give you a heads up, but that's all coming up and scheduled. And also in the comments below, if you're not part of this live event right now and you're watching this recorded, which many of you will be, leave a note in the below when your next exam and what it is. I'd love to find out, and then I will also comment on my journey for next month as well. All right, question 6. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. All right, good to know. And thank you for that feedback. That's valuable. I appreciate that. All right, let's get on to some more questions. This is worth double points. No pressure. Good luck. I am super, super impressed. 83 of you got the correct answer. Let's talk about, a second. I was gonna say show media. That's not too exciting. The reason I put the blocks there is for the fact of, let me grab my pen, because of block size. So let me share with you briefly how I would solve this, and then I will turn you loose on the Subnet Saturdays to go ahead and calculate this. If it's a /28, that means for the 4th octet, so 3rd octet and 4th octet. And yeah, I'm a double CCIA. Am I writing this out? I am. There's thinking fast and slow. And thinking fast is like, yeah, but, and sometimes those answers are wrong, especially if you have weirdly crafted questions. So even if you're pretty confident of the answer in a certification environment or in real life, take an extra moment just to verify. So in this 4th octet, as far as the mask goes, 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. Saying, Keith, I always start it from the right. It's all good. It's just the decimal values for each of those positions in binary. Also covered in Subnet Saturdays. And for a 28-bit mask, the mask would look like this. On. 25, 26, 27, 28. There's the dividing line. And so that's our block size. And the wildcard mask, and this is a little bit of a shortcut based on knowing how it works. The wildcard mask is going to be 1 less than the block size. And so it's going to be 15. And so I'm looking for the answer with 15. Kind of way. That's how I would solve it. And looks like most of you crushed it. Great job. Let's continue on. And here's your next question. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Keith Barker. If you are considering or thinking about getting your Cisco CCNA, the 200-301 certification, but have some concerns or questions like, how do I start or what should I study? This video is for you. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 major things that you need to do in getting your CCNA. And for those of you who are new to the channel, if we haven't been introduced yet, my name is Keith. And indeed, they're all up there. So I take every piece of content that's relatable to CCNA, I throw in the full playlist, and then I also add separate playlists for the quizzes, for layer 2 security inside of CCNA, also for the Kahoots, these quizzes, they're all there. All right, let's continue. Question 9 of 13. Good luck, everybody. All right, OSPF doesn't use TCP, which is protocol 6 at layer 4. It doesn't use UDP, which is protocol 17 at the transport layer. It doesn't use protocol 1. I'm number 1. That's ICMP. So it uses, what does it use? I'll say chat in what it uses. Oh yeah, I know what it is. It's 89. That's what it uses. Somebody gave me a clue last time of how to remember between OSPF and EIGRP. And so OSPF is protocol, it has its own protocol, protocol 89. All right, thank you very much, Jamie, Joseph, Joe, Raphael, Umair, for helping me out with that. I get by with a little help from my friends, and I appreciate you. All right, we are getting down to the last moments here. Great Orcs is in the lead position right now. It is a close race. It could be anybody's game. Here's question 10 of 13. Good luck. Okay, we have 35 answers on red, which is correct, which is not the majority vote. Here's what we could do. We could talk to Chuck Robbins, CEO of Cisco Systems, and we could ask him to change it. Or we could take a look and see why this question is a little bit tricky. And I wrote these intentionally for the purpose of them to be a little bit challenging. So here's the scoop. This static route at the top, let me just highlight that real quick. IP route. Dear Mr. Router, what I would love you to do is, my face up there, I would love you to add a route to 10.23.0.0, which is a 24-bit network, so right there. And I'd like you to use the next hop of 10.24.0.2 to do that. And I would like this route that I'm adding to have an administrative distance of 66. So when we type that command, the router says, well, I currently have these two routes with the next hop of .3 and .2. Oh my gosh. 24.02. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong. So I currently have these two. Wow. This is even more tricky than I thought because that's the same next hop, 10.24.0.2. That was an added bonus that I didn't really mean to have happen. But anyway, this route, which is an OSPF learned route based on the AD of 1 and 10, would be replaced. It would go away, blah, because 66 is a better AD. I didn't actually mean for it to be quite that tricky, but the answer is still the same. And let's take a look at it. Current routes, yeah, the two current routes, which were these OSPF learned routes, they are both going bye-bye. Or as Arnold would say, removed from the routing table. Or hasta la vista, something like that. All right, AD is how a route gets in the routing table, and the cost determines once it's in the routing table, is it going to be used? And it's always based also on a longest match. And if there's two exactly the same routes, then it's up to cost once they're in the routing table. Cost or the metric. All right, which option would win for a specific route? This is probably the easiest question, I think, in the batch. Wow, why EIGRP? If we had the same exact route through all these sources, why EIGRP? And the answer is 80, the administrative distance. So let's take a look real quick. Internal BGP is terrible, 200. It's like golf. Administrative distance is like golf. The lower the score, the better. So IBGP has the worst. That's internal BGP. It has a default administrative distance of 200. The next worst in this list is a static route with 115. If we did the administrative distance of 115, the default administrative distance, if it's the next hop, is an IP address, is a 1, but we changed it here. And then OSPF is 110, and EIGRP for internal EIGRP routes, which really is all you need to worry about as far as knowing for, well, long story short, EIGRP, internal routes 90, and 57 if you nailed that. I think we're getting really close to the end, like really, really close. So Great Orcs is still crushing it on top of the heap. And Eager Macaw has a streak of 3. All right, second to last question. Good luck, everyone. And that was great. I love the votes just pouring in so fast. Like the faster you reply, the more points you get for a correct answer. So 95 are saying the best way of learning something is practice, or lots of failure, which is also practice, or can be related to practice, please, 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 from the bottom of my heart, as you are studying the technologies, whether it's CCNA or Checkpoint or Palo Alto or whoever it is, please lab it up whenever you can. Cisco makes it so easy for us by giving us Packet Tracer. Lab it up, because those skills, I mean, it's shocking. It's shocking at how useful those skills are in a real environment. I mean, I've walked into networks where I've been given no pre-knowledge of the topology. They might have some diagrams that may be out of date or whatever they are. And by using CDP and some other basic commands like, oh yeah, boom, and you can determine the network because the commands are in your tool belt. Think of hands-on practice like a Batman tool belt. And it has all these tools in it that if you've practiced using them, you can use them. You just have a hammer. Let me give you an example of a hammer. An example of a hammer is show run. I'm just going to do show run, and that's all. Show run's wonderful, but if you want to see the results like OSPF neighborships and routing protocols that are running, this correct show commands are going to be very, very helpful. So please, please, please practice, practice, practice. And I think we have one last question. Hopefully it has points associated with it. These are randomized, so I'm not always sure. And Great Orcs is still crushing it. Here is, let's hope for points. Oh, it's a word cloud. No points. That means Great Orcs is on top. But I am curious, where are you watching from in this live event right now? Also, if you watch a recording of this later, you turn down the music. If you watch a recording of this later, I would also love it if you would just chat in the discussion in the comments about where you're watching it from. I'm always curious. Are you in this part of the world or that part of the world? What city are you in? So in the live event, I get a chance to interact a little bit more with you. And also right after this, we'll jump onto Discord after we do some live Q&A. All right, where are we from? Where are we from? San Diego is in the house. All right, and then we have a whole bunch of other cities. I get these results and I get to look at it later, so I'm going to enjoy this later, looking at it and appreciating the diverse group that we have as a community here, studying and getting better at Cisco technology. So regardless of your background or country or what governments and so forth, getting better at technology, including the fundamentals of Cisco, is going to serve you a long, long time. All right, let's see who won. And then let's also take a few questions. So while I'm saying that, if you have a question for me, if you just do an @KeithBarker so it shows up with my name, it'd be easy for me to find. And if you already asked the question like a few minutes ago or an hour ago, half hour ago, if you could just repeat that question if you want me to take a look at it with an @KeithBarker in front of it so I can easily see it. And then we'll stick around for a few minutes and do some Q&A. All right, here's the podium. All right, Great Orcs. Congratulations. And let me get some feedback as well. I'll show that as it comes in. Also, if you have recommendations for next quizzes, we do them every Sunday. I do something from the CCNA blueprint until that's exhausted and we've covered every topic. It will continue to be. So if you have a recommendation